Hey guys, it's Kyle with Rhino. I'm here with the Rhino Slider Pro 4-foot. I want to show you guys what you get in the box and how to set it up properly. So when you get the box in the mail, this is actually our new double-walled, super thick box. It's going to protect everything inside really well. If you ordered one of our new Rhino Armor cases, it'll be right in the lid. And the new cases actually have a thick, hard plastic on top, so it'll protect your slider even better. But I'm going to stash this to the side for right now until we get to that. You can just take out this little bit of cardboard, and this is what you get inside. A lot of people order extra rails because the coolest part about the Rhino Slider is that all the rails are modular. So you can add 2-foot carbon rails, or you can add 4-foot carbon rails, and just switch between what rails you need for the day. So I'm going to pull these out. They just come in nifty little foam spacers. If you ordered a slider pulley or any of our other accessories, it'll be packed well inside the box here, so you can put that aside for now. Now here's the most important part of your slider, is what we call the carriage box. The carriage box holds all of the key components to your Rhino Slider. I'll open it up here, a little piece of protective foam. And the first layer is your carriage, the 4 rubber feet for your slider legs. Underneath that, you can take off the foam piece, are 2 end plates, your 4 legs, and your 4 mounting screws. It's as simple as that. So what you want to do first is take out your 4 legs and just put on the 4 rubber feet. Just screw them in. It's pretty easy. Alright, so after you get all 4 of the rubber feet installed into the legs, you can actually start assembling your slider. So you're going to want to take one of your end plates, and if you ordered multiple sets of rails, take 1 set of rails. I'm going to use the 2-foot carbon just because it's going to be easier to show you guys. Just pull the carbon rails out. I'm going to set the pro rails aside so you can see what I'm doing. So what you want to do is there's a little threaded insert on the end of the carbon fiber. You put that up against the inside of this end plate so it fits snugly right inside there. And then you're going to want to find the leg that matches up with it. So on the end plates and the legs are machined teeth. So when you adjust your legs, it basically locks in place, and these can hold a ton of weight. So even if you have like 30, 40, 50 pounds of weight on your slider, the legs aren't going to budge. Pretty cool feature. So you take one of your end bolts, you put it in through your leg, and something that you want to add on top of that in the installation will be found inside of this little plastic baggie. So you can just open this thing up and dump out some of your parts. And what you're going to find is a spare 1/4-20 mounting screw. So if you want to swap out, instead of using a standard 3/8, if you're using a different head or a glyph or some other accessory, you have your 1/4-20 mounting option. And then what you want to do is there's little O-rings. You want to put one of these over that mounting screw. What that's going to do is, for one, it's going to retain the mounting screw so it doesn't fall out. And then as you install it on the end plate, you can screw it in. It actually provides a little bit of friction. So this will never come loose. Even if you're backpacking with it or mountain climbing, you'll feel it snug down nice and tight. That's what you want. All right, when you go to install your second rail, you want to take one of these rubber bumpers and install it so that the rounded side is facing the rail, and so the flat sides line up like this. Install that on the end plate, bolt on the other leg, you're good to go. So this rubber stopper actually, it keeps your carriage from hitting the end plate, and it's just a nice smooth stop instead of a harsh metal on metal contact. Next, you're going to want to take your carriage. This is the heart and soul of your Rhino Slider. You want to slide it onto your rails, just like that. And it's pretty cool. It has 2 locking carriage brakes. So if we don't want this thing sliding around during assembly, or if you're moving from shot to shot, all you do is you turn one of these little wing nuts, and it locks down your carriage securely. So to finish up the installation, all you have to do is put on your other end plate, like so. Get your 2 final legs. put on the little O-ring keepers. Now before I forget, we want to install this other rubber end piece on the opposite side of the rail. So on this one, we have the rubber piece on this rail. We're going to do it on the opposite end and the opposite rail, so that if something hits, it's going to be your carriage brake and your roller contacting this rubber piece. And then just install your other two legs and you're good to go. All right, so after you have your slider unboxed and assembled, I want to show you how to adjust the outer rollers of it. Now, if you look at our slider, the inner rollers are actually completely fixed. The outer rollers, though, can be adjusted for tension, and sometimes when you switch between rails, you might need to adjust what we call the preload. So what you do is you take, there's a little nut on the bottom, and this little screw on top. You unscrew, you hold the bottom nut, and you unscrew the top a little bit. And that basically just loosens up the roller so it can slide in and out. Next, what you want to do is actually press the roller onto the rail. It's pretty simple. And then tighten up the assembly back all the way. And it's really critical that you tighten that up firmly. There's a lock washer in there which will keep it from coming loose, but it does need to be tight. Next, you can take the little thumb screw on the outside and screw it all the way in. Now, this is basically your zero position. So there's not any friction or preload in the system. The outer roller should just be touching the rail and rolling smoothly. Now, if you wanted to tighten up the friction a little bit, all you would have to do is loosen up the system and then give this screw like a quarter or half a turn, and that'll actually press the roller onto the rail, causing friction. Tighten everything back up really well, and then you'll notice there's a little bit more friction in the system. Now, we recommend that if you do add friction into it, you do it on both sides so it's equal on both sides of the rails. The other reason that you might want to adjust the preload of your slider is when you switch between rails. There's a slight difference in diameter, and so you might have to loosen up the preload a little bit when you switch to carbon from Pro. So one of our most popular accessories for the Rhino slider has been the slider pulley. The slider pulley is designed to let you get remote slides, meaning that you don't have to be right next to your slider. So if you saw our Kickstarter video, we did a remote slide from inside of the car. I was actually filming myself and my brother, and we pulled it from inside the car. It was routed through the window. Then also, the slider pulley is great for vertical shots. This bag is actually designed to hold ballast, whether it's rocks, lead weight, or dive weights. Works really well to counterbalance your camera when you're going up and down. We'll show you that in a few minutes. But first, I want to show you how to install it. So what you get is this bag. Inside of it is the actual slider pulley part. It's connected via a carabiner to the bag. So first thing, you want to untangle this cable. You might need to let it spin a little bit. Okay. Next part, you want to screw this on to your carriage. There's a 1/4-20 tapped hole on the side of your carriage, which you just screw this into. And when you screw it, it'll twist up the cable a little bit, but all you do is let it spin a little, and it'll take out all those twists. Next, you want to take your actual slider pulley assembly, screw it into the other 1/4-20 hole, which is on the end plate of your slider. Then you can route the cable around the pulley and then just pull up, and it should click into the guide just like that. That's really as easy as it is to set up the slider pulley assembly. You can then unlock your carriage. Typically, when you're shooting on a level surface, when you have a camera on here, we recommend to raise up one end of the slider like it is now, or lower one end, just so you have a little bit of weight and almost a little bit of a ramp to pull your slider up as you're pulling it. Now, this will let you get smoother shots and also vertical shots. For all of our DSLR gear, we've actually created custom fitting cases made out of ballistic and ripstop nylon. We only use the best materials for these things. They have thick foam everywhere, and we use YKK genuine zippers. So I want to show you how to fold up your slider for travel and how to put it in your case and how to best use your case in the field during your workflow. So what you want to do is the legs on all of our sliders. They can basically loosen up very easily. Fold one up, fold one down, and then tighten them up a little bit just so they stay in place. It's really simple. You want to lock down your carriage. You can even use both of your carriage brakes to do so it's not going anywhere. Again, on the other side, you can fold one up, fold one down, and they basically just collapse for travel. So right here is our new 2-foot carrying case, Rhino Armor carrying case. All you do is you unzip the front of it, and you can basically shove in the slider, zip it up, and you're good to go. That's probably the simplest use of this thing. On the back, there's a shoulder strap that can go over either shoulder. There's multiple spots to attach it to a backpack. And then you can actually stash this strap. Say you want this thing really trim for travel. You can actually stash it inside of this pocket, and the Velcro lid will close on top of it. If you're using it like that, then we suggest that you use the handle that's built into the side. There's a pocket on the outside, there's actually a pocket on the inside, and this thing will hold a small ball head attached to your slider. So if you're running and gunning, you can put your ball head on your carriage and actually have it inside of the case with it. Now, one feature about this that you guys may not know about is that this back pocket is really thick padding. It actually stores extra rails. So you can put your 2-foot pro rails in there if you have your main slider as the 2-foot carbon. In the future, you'll also be able to stash your Rhino Infinity rails, which will be 4-foot rails that unscrew in the middle into 2-foot sections for travel. We'll have those in carbon fiber and pro. So forward thinking ahead of, you guys can literally travel with an 8-foot slider inside of the Rhino Armor 2-foot carrying case. Next, we'll show you what the 4-foot looks like. All right, guys, here is the Rhino Armor 4-foot slider carrying case. Starting at the handle, we use the best of the best materials. This is actually seatbelt material, so it's crazy durable. There's a pocket on the front where you can store a battery holster, SD cards, any other small accessories. You can stash right inside of there. The whole thing is made of ballistic and ripstop nylon. Again, all these materials are the best of the best. This is the new version of it, which we released recently, and it actually includes a thick plastic that'll keep anything from actually hitting your slider and digging your rails. So opening it up, we have a pretty unique design that we created from the ground up for the carrying case in our Rhino Armor line. To install your slider in here, you do the same thing as you did with the 2-foot. You fold up your legs so they're compact, and you stash them inside of these little pockets. So it fits securely inside there. So put them in. You can use this little pull tab. Now both these ends are extremely padded so that they're not going to get dinged or damaged in travel. If you want to, you can secure your slider even better with these Velcro rail keepers. Now something that's also new on this Rhino Armor case is this protective pad on this side. So after you zip up the entire thing, it protects your outer roller and your carriage very well. Another unique feature of this case is the ability to store all of your modular rails for the Rhino slider in one case. All you have to do is unzip the padded compartment, and you can put 4-foot rails, 2-foot pro rails, or 2-foot carbon rails. That's what I have in here right now. And all of them are very secure and padded inside of here. And when you close this thing up, it's 3/8-inch padding. It's not going to hit your carriage on your slider at all. So let's say you're out in the field, you're running and gunning, and you put your slider back in your case, but you don't want to have to pack everything back up, but you're moving to a different shot location. Say it's at a live event or a wedding. There's a handle inside of here, which actually lets you run and gun with your case. I'll flip it around so you guys can see it. Everything's secured very well. Just a cool little feature that will probably help your workflow.